Hey, welcome back. It's June 29th and I'm actually here on visit in my hometown, London. You can see it's a scorching day and you can see the skyline behind me. I'm actually, the buildings you can see me behind me is the City of London, and this is the River Thames. Very, very iconic features. This is where it all began for me. I used to be a Big Four financial services consultant many years ago, and as I said, I'm truly a Londoner at heart. I am eternally grateful for what this city and this country has given me. This is where I actually studied and start off my career. So you can see some iconic buildings behind me. And if I just turn around across, you can see you've got the London Eye, you've got the famous route master of London buses roaming around, and you've got some other iconic buildings like the Westminster, you've got the Spy building behind me. And incidentally, just down here, I don't know if you can see it, you can see the Coinbase, American crypto exchange. The key offices are here on the embankment. This is where I am actually, Embankment Pier. So basically, there's really one key point that I want to mention. It's this eternal dilemma on where to invest your assets. There's always going to be this heated debate between real estate property and Bitcoin. Now, the predicament around real estate, as we all know, I'm just going through, showing you the features as I'm recording this video, because I think it's really worth, if you haven't had the chance, to come and pay a visit, because it's truly fantastic. Real estate is dwindling down, and the expectation that I'm going to see in the months and years ahead, particularly the next few months and beyond, is going to be this stagflation on the real estate property, a sideways action, right? It's where the prices are neither going up or going down. And why is that? It's because there's growing interest, growing recognition that real estate is no longer being perceived as a store of value as it used to be historically, and particularly the Gen Zs. We are growingly investing our TradeFi, our fiat wealth, into Bitcoin as that leading store of value. Because let's face it, there are more risks associated with real estate than Bitcoin. That is the honest truth, because there's so much more that can happen, that can potentially go wrong with your real estate. If it's not that super duper premium real estate, whether it's in the heart of London or in Manhattan, New York, or Japan, Tokyo, Paris, if we're not talking about premium real estate and we're just investing normal residential or second, third home properties, that is really a lost investment. It's a written off investment, because any council, any government, out of a whim and with a strike of a pen, can issue the housing constructors to build more houses, which in turn, as we all know, whenever there's more of an asset that is brought into the supply, into the economy, it would subsequently bring down the value of the asset price for that asset class in general. So that is the immediate impact. So normal residential properties, other non-premium real estate properties, certainly they're going to see stagflation, because as more wealth, as there is that growing recognition of wealth being brought into Bitcoin, at a minimum, prices will not go up. If not, it will start to deteriorate and dampen down, which is good news, particularly for first-time buyers, where they're having real tough times to buy and get onto that property ladder. So normal residential property is certainly something you need to divest away from and sell off and move into Bitcoin, would be my advice, right? Because there is that growing recognition that Bitcoin is becoming that leading store of value, wealth asset into the long term. I'm just going to go around because really it's just beautiful. You can see the London Eye, you've got the Houses of Parliament, the Big Ben. That is the point that I want to raise. You need to do that research. My suggestion would be, particularly for the baby boomers out there who are starting to think about how to transfer their wealth to their next of kin, particularly Gen X's, Gen Z generations, they're not going to be at all interested in holding on to their real estate investments and properties, because they have to worry about inheritance tax, they have to worry about wealth tax, they have to worry about council tax, the upkeep cost, the maintenance cost for holding on to your real estate investment. So there's an awful lot of headache associated with real estate property development, real estate property management, which is all the more reason why we are seeing people waking up to their senses and to divest away from that into Bitcoin. And that is the key point. You need to do that research. Just do kind of an evaluation, kind of an analysis based on the residential property that you have in your portfolio. Come up with a range of risks. As I mentioned, there is residential risk, there's council tax risk, there is wealth tax, inheritance tax, stamp duty tax, other hundreds of different types of taxations, the upkeep, maintenance of your properties, the insurance, house insurance, and everything else with it. Because what we are seeing, eventually, where you're going to inherit, or what you have, is going to go down to zero. If it's, I insist, if it's not a premium real estate asset, which is really reserved for the super duper rich, not for the rest of us, because we're talking about in the $1 billion range, premium real estate. So really that's the message I want to leave you today. You need to do that analysis and also think about your risk-adjusted return. And then do the same thing with the CAGR, the compound annual rate of return of Bitcoin and real estate properties. And you'll see yourself, you can convince yourself that there is huge growth potential associated with Bitcoin more than it is with real estate. So that's all I really want to touch on you today. There is a heap going on in terms of news and developments on crypto and Bitcoin this week. In fact, there's talks that the tariff discussions coming towards the end as the July expiration. Remember, there's been this 90-day pause agreement, but I think by then all of the trading deals are going to come to an end satisfactorily on both sides, on the Trump administration side and its rest of the world partners. And as a result, we're going to be seeing that crypto, and particularly Bitcoin, is going to be well positioned to weather that storm, which is all the more reason, as I keep on saying, to invest into Bitcoin as a minimum, because that is going to be the ultimate hedge against inflation, against the shenanigans, and certainly against entropy, all types of chaos moving forward. So that's all I'd like to leave you today, and if you haven't done so already, I would certainly recommend come and pay a visit to London town, which is phenomenal. In fact, the main history behind it, if you haven't gone into depths of history, which I encourage you to do, and in fact there is a cruise ship behind me, it gives all the ins and outs of the history of London, how it came about. And it all started out, as you can imagine, being on the River Thames, all to do with transportation, maritime. So anything that was linked with water, you know, all the kind of fisheries, precious metals industries, which is all the metal exchanges, the London Clearing House, all been established for that main reason, because it was the perfect major important port in the world at that time to transport commerce and wealth and materials. And that's really where London, the city of London, had actually been established for that same reason. And then of course during the course of decades and centuries thereafter, the prosperity of that wealth through transportation, maritime and commerce, international trade, has really kind of set the UK its true identity, which unfortunately it has lost really recently, ever since Brexit. But anyway, that's for another episode. I just want to leave you this wonderful views, and my message still remains the same as always: invest wisely and invest in Bitcoin. Until next time.